Good morning, folks. How's everybody doing? This is White Raptor News Ministries. All praise and glory to the mighty Most High, our Creator is one God. I've been in this spiritual battle. I've kind of noticed that my views have dropped off. I think my views dropped off when I started saying that Yahweh, the God of this Bible, that is a man, couldn't possibly be the supreme spirit of truth. Because even in this Bible, I've read far enough into it and know enough about the Bible today that contradictions exist. And we're getting to parts in the Bible where we're going to start noticing a lot of inconsistencies, things that don't match up. So whenever something doesn't match up or doesn't align, then we have to use discernment. We have to go to the Spirit of truth, the living Spirit of truth, the omnipotent force that moves all things in place. The truth is the only thing that can help you to find discernment, okay? Leviticus 24, we're here at olive oil and bread set before the Lord. So the Lord said to Moses, I've done enough lessons here that everybody should know at this point in time what the Lord is. The Lord is the self-existing, eternal Spirit of truth. And we have to use discernment whenever a Lord is speaking with Moses, because now we have somebody that's speaking with Moses. And if something is speaking with Moses, then it is something that is used of the Supreme Spirit. This is important for you to understand. Okay, the Lord said to Moses, command the Israelites to bring you clear oil of pressed olives for the light, so that the lamps may be kept burning continually. Okay, this is a metaphor for your lamp. Your lamp is your pineal gland, okay? The oil for your pineal gland in the lamp is the dimethylene tryptamine. It's called Christ. It's called the Christos. It's called chrism. That's what it's produced inside of here. They're metaphors, folks, okay? To keep it burning continually. Because without the oil, what happens? You dry up. The spirit without the oil no longer can hallucinate inside of the flesh suit. Outside the curtain that shields the ark of the covenant law in the tent of meetings, Aaron is to tend the lamps before the Lord from evening till morning, continually. This is to be a lasting ordinance for the generations to come. The lamps on the pure gold lampstand before the Lord must be tended to continually. So, I wonder if this practice is taking place today. What church would it be taking place in? If this practice is taking place today, I've got to ask you, where is this practice taking place? Who's considered the Israelites today? Who's the true Israelites and who are those in the providence of Israel today? You see, I try telling everybody that we live on a plane of existence that's called identity theft. And one nation of people have been hijacked from nations of people. God's chosen children have had the Bible stolen from them, and the Bible scriptures changed because you went into the towns and the Samaritans and started falling into their pagan worship. Take the finest flour and bake 12 loaves of bread using 2/10 of an ephah for each loaf. Arrange them in 2 stacks, 6 in each stack, on the table of pure gold before the Lord. So, before the Lord, remember that there's a curtain that's created in the tabernacle, and that there is something that is seated behind this curtain that no one can see. You got to remember, no one can see God's face and live, as it says in Exodus 33:20. For no man can see my face and live. So you have a partition that separates the priest from the Lord, something that sits behind the curtain, kind of like on the Wizard of Oz. Okay, by each stack put some pure incense as a memorial portion to present the bread and to be a food offering presented to the Lord. This bread is to be set out before the Lord regularly, Sabbath after Sabbath, on behalf of the Israelites as a lasting covenant. It belongs to Aaron and his sons, who are to eat it in the sanctuary area, because it is the most holy part of their perpetual share of the food offerings presented to the Lord. A blasphemer put to death. Now the son of an Israelite mother and an Egyptian father went out among the Israelites, and a fight broke out in the camp between him and an Israelite. The son of the Israelite women blasphemed the name with a curse. So they brought him to Moses. His mother's name was Shelamith, the daughter of Debri the Danite. They put him in custody until the will of the Lord should be made clear to them. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Take the blasphemer outside the camp. All those who heard him are to lay their hands on him, and the entire assembly is to stone him. Say to the Israelites, anyone who curses their God will be held responsible. Anyone who blasphemes the name of the Lord is to be put to death. The entire assembly must stone them, whether foreigner or native born. When they blaspheme the name, they are to be put to death." See, now this is where you have a serious disconnect with people in the spirit, okay? How do people blaspheme the Lord's name? Why are they being put to death here? Okay? And I have to ask, when they blaspheme the name, why isn't there a name added here? It's almost like a secretive in a hidden parable. Don't blaspheme the name of the Lord. Well, what is the name of the Lord? How could any of us be true to what the name of the Lord is? The Israelites themselves have 3 different names for God. They call him Yahweh, they call him Yah, and they call him Yahweh. So that is a trinity. That's 3 gods. Okay? Also, Israel, Jacob's name was changed to Israel. And if you break down the word Israel, you could say Is, short for Isis, the female goddess. You have Ra, the sun god, Ra, and then you have El, the sun, the supreme god, Israel. So I don't know the Supreme Spirit's name. I can't blaspheme his name. So when it says to blaspheme the Creator's name, what it's talking about is placing names beside the Spirit. We've fallen away. We've had a memory wipe. Nobody remembers what the Spirit's name is. I should have probably wrote this. I didn't know it was 23. I got to start reading these. Anyone who takes the life of a human being is to be put to death. Notice here what it says. Human being is to be put to death. Okay? Understand that beasts and human beings are not the same. Okay? This is why it's specifically saying a human being is to be put to death. Anyone who takes a life of a human being is to be put to death. Well, they've screwed that, huh? Today, black people across our nation are being murdered and killed by cops. They're murdering each other out in the streets. And why are they doing it? Because this plane of existence got you all thinking that this is what you need. You want the drugs. You want the money. You want the badass car. You want the big home. You want to stand out to the world. You want the world to look at you, say, look at me, look at me, look at what I've achieved, look at what I've done. Yes, I achieved all this by being a crooked serpent. I've earned my money by stealing people's stuff. I've earned my money by being a banker and creating bank fees, and then this imaginary interest rate where money all of a sudden grows from fucking interest. It's a complete shit show. It's a shit show, folks. So it's not saying anyone who takes the life of a beast is to be put to death, is it? Because this is what the Spirit means when he says to hate evil. Okay? This is what he means when he says to stone you when you commit evil. Okay? If you have burnt down a fucking neighbor's house and the only thing you got was a fucking a smack on your rear end from mommy and daddy, and the courts didn't do anything because you were underage, and then you go down and you burn the other neighbor's house down the street, then guess what? Your little head, that's the head that needs to be dashed against the rocks. You understand? When the Bible says dash a child's head against the rocks, an infant's head against the rocks, you couldn't be any more morally insane. I don't care if it's a stranger. I don't care if that's a beast child. I don't care if that's a child of God. You can't dash a child's head against the rocks if you don't know what the child's going to turn up to be like. That could be a good child. You don't know what's inside that child. You don't know if that's a spirited child or not. So how are you going to just go and dash a child's heads against the rocks? And that's Yahweh that's saying that. You guys are worshiping a God that's telling you to dash an infant's child against the rocks. Okay? In my life, I'm sorry. I don't give a rat's ass. You don't do that. To me, I would dash the person's head against the rock that would dash a child's head against the rock. Okay, you have to use discernment on these parables. If you have a 14-year-old kid, as I said, that burnt down the two neighbors' streets, dash that kid's head against the rock. Put that kid in prison for eternity. You know, this is why you got to destroy the evil. And then what is good? If you're killing people because they're raping, and then the Spirit of God's telling you not to kill, then you're no better than they are, because now you're killing somebody. Okay? It's once you understand that both good and evil are weaved within one another in the fabric of our reality, you can't escape it. The only way that you can escape the evil is to stay away from it. So anyone who takes a human life is not the same as anyone who takes a beast's life, okay? I'm trying to teach you guys over and over that there's two nations. There's a nation of children that are a special kind of person. They're particular children to the Most High. And then there's another race of beasts that were created on the sixth day of creation. Anyone who takes the life of someone's animal must make restitution life for life. Anyone who injures their neighbor is to be injured in the same manner. Well, what if the injury is in an accident? What if you injured the neighbor and it was an accident? Say you're working on a scaffold or something, whatever they use to work on higher things, and you slip and you fall from the scaffold, and then you land on somebody and you break their shoulder, or you fall and you break the person's neck, and you did that on accident. You're to be killed and destroyed because you accidentally fell on somebody and killed them? No. Discernment is needed, always. It's always discernment. Watch. Right here, Proverbs chapter 1. I love the first 7 verses of this. I love it, man. The Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel. Number 1, David ain't no Hebrew name. David's translated, okay? The names of the Hebrew have all been changed. The Bible has been changed. The scriptures have been changed. The prophets have been changed. The story has been changed. And the Creator, the Spirit of truth, changes not. Everything is for purpose. King of Israel, for gaining wisdom and instruction, for understanding words of insight. Okay? Insight means the mind, folks. Okay? Wisdom is the world. And we don't do the wisdom of the world. For gaining wisdom and instruction, for understanding words of insight, for receiving instructions in prudent behavior. This is key for receiving instructions in prudent behavior. Do you understand that the information that I share with you is instructions given to you in a prudent behavior, doing what is right and just and fair? I'm doing what is right today. I'm doing what is just and fair. I see the world for what it is, for giving prudence to those who are simple. Not standing over them, not trying to capitalize off them, not trying to fucking rip them off and turn them into your slaves, but giving prudence and kindness and warmth and love to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the young, teaching a child properly what needs to be taught at a certain age, in teaching rightfully, righteously, teaching your child that it's wrong to steal, talking to your child about these things when they're young, doing so in discretion. Let the wise listen and add to their learning. So a wise man like myself, I go all over the internet. I read all kinds of content. I fill my mind with information, and then the discerning is what it is, okay? Let the wise listen and add to their learning, and let the discerning get guidance. The discerning getting guidance from the Spirit of truth, okay? For understanding Proverbs, parables, and the sayings of the riddles of the wise. The Bible is a book of riddles written by the wise. They are metaphors, they are allegories, and they're figuratively and they're literally. You have to understand when it's being literal. Sometime in the creation story, a man and a woman had to have been created. So that would be literal. So it has to be literal when the Spirit molds a man from the dust of the earth. Call it clay, call it whatever it is, call it a clone, call it a droid, call it whatever it is. Once it became flesh, okay, you fell away from God. Your soul has been trapped. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instructions. What do I mean, fools despise wisdom and instructions? I could share about the 666 information to people and they run, or they say that it's coincidence, or none of that matters. I can give you literally 30 different 666 allegories, man, and people will look at me like dumbfounded and say, oh, that's just all coincidence. No, folks, it's not coincidence. It's the real deal. So, where were we? Give me 1 second. Wrong Leviticus. That's what I was reading earlier. Okay. Then Moses spoke to the Israelites, and they took the blasphemers outside the camp and stoned him. The Israelites did as the Lord commanded Moses. Now remember, this is supposed to be the same Lord that's told you not to take any man's life. Okay? So the Lord is giving commands that, here, let me show you. Right here, short away, right off of the ark. Okay, this is 3 chapters after the ark. Okay, 6, 7, and 8, they're all just simply the bloodlines of Noah, Shem, and Noah and his family, Shem, Japheth, and Ham. Okay, whoever sheds the blood of man, by man's his blood will be shed, for in his own image God has made mankind. Mankind here is ruddy. It is mankind, it says, is a human being, but it's not a human being, folks. Mankind is 666, all right? In the Strong's Concordance, this is 120. Also, the Strong's Concordance is 119, and that is also a human being. And then the Strong's Concordance 121 is also a human being. So you have 3 different definitions for mankind. One being ruddy, okay, which means to be red, rubbed red, ruddy, rubbed red is what it means. That man that's created on the 6th day was ruddy. Okay, the second man in Genesis 2:7 here, the second man is the one that is a human being, not the first one. The first man is created in an image of God, and an image of God is a phantom. Phantom is a ghost. The ghost is the spirit of the dead. The supreme spirit allowed something to be created. It's the spirit of dead. So that would be the end of this chapter here. I don't know, it just happened there. All right, guys. Well, it looks like I accidentally closed my window. I have another lesson up here, but I'm going to save that one for later. I'm going to probably shut this down. Remember, folks, give all praise and glory to one Spirit of truth, the living, omnipotent force that moves all things in place. There is none like the Spirit of truth. There's none like him. Okay, please snap out of your walking delusion. Jesus Christ is not God. He is only a servant of God. He's a messenger of God. And those that are in the providence of Israel today have turned Jesus Christ into a God. And he is not the supreme God, but he is the God of this realm. Jesus is the prince of this realm. Jesus was given power in this realm. Satan was given power in this realm. Satan and Jesus are one and the same. You guys need to wake up to that. If you don't, you're going to fry. This is White Raptor News Ministries. Peace.